Hey guys, this is Donald Spann, the instructor of Call Center Cash, and I wanted to talk to you guys today about how you can have a profitable, growing business that's actually up in a year that most businesses are down. So, Vicky Virtual, as you may know, is the company that I founded back in January of 2015. I built that company up, and fortunately, it was acquired in October of 2019. However, the person that bought the company, we have remained in touch and we're dear friends. And so I've been keeping tabs on how the company's going. And so because of that, I've been able to sort of get a sense of how Vicky Virtual is doing as a virtual receptionist company in the virtual receptionist space so far this year. And they are actually up 30% since March of 2020, which is absolutely incredible. As we all know, 2020 is a year where a lot of different businesses and different industries have really fallen by the wayside. And, sometimes it can be a little scary considering starting up a new company or, taking any types of risk in the current business that you have going, right? Surviving is the name of the game for most businesses. However, for Vicky Virtual, again, they're up 30%. And so we're going to go over the 5 reasons why Vicky Virtual has been able to thrive, whereas other businesses have not. Okay, so the first reason that Vicky Virtual was able to do so well is that they took the typical trial period of 7 days and they extended it to 30 days. Now, what our competitors do, or Vicky Virtual competitors do, is typically 7 to 14 days, and I believe there's one company that does a 30-day where you pay up front and then you get your money back if it's not working out. But Vicky Virtual went from 7 days to 30 days overall, and what that enabled them to do would take their incoming traffic that was already happening and basically increase the conversion rate. So let's say they had 100, different people coming in terms of traffic, either through their paid media or through organic, right, or even from referrals. The amount of trials that they got went up by 28%. Okay. Now, in terms of the 30-day trial, it's much longer than 7 days. So less of the people that went on to trial ended up completing trial. They were down, I believe, 18% in that regard. But because they had 28% more signups overall, they were in a situation where they ended up ahead. And the second thing they did was they converted to 24/7 coverage. So what they had before, roughly June 2020, so June of this year, was coverage hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday Central Time. Those were the times that I installed when I first started the company, okay? And through that, we were able to sort of service the clients that we wanted and needed and that fit us in 30 different industries. However, once Vicky decided to switch to 24/7 this year, it allowed them to be more competitive. Of course, there were more staffing costs, but they were still more competitive. Why? Now they're able to reach out into completely new industries and segments that they could not reach before, such as, hair salon, masseuse, home service companies that we couldn't really get much of a foothold in before, like locksmith, certain electrician, plumbers, and then also bread and butter attorneys, certain categories of attorneys like the injury attorneys that you can call at any time. We could handle most of them that preferred and were cool with business hours. But in terms of certain, industries and certain people within those industries, we couldn't service them before. Now Vicky Virtual can. Okay. So the third thing that they did was actually pretty big. One of the major dynamics that has affected small businesses in general during this pandemic is that, of course, they've been downsizing. A lot of businesses have gone out of business, but the ones that are staying, even if their revenue is down, obviously they're trimming the fat. And so there's a large segment of businesses doing about maybe 200,000 to a little bit over $1 million on average that have one in-house receptionist that's working in the office, and they're probably answering somewhere between 5 and 50 calls a day. Okay, but when you're answering that volume of calls and that's your primary function, and you're being paid several $1,000s a month, sometimes for a small business without a whole lot of room for overhead, they're the type of person, unfortunately, that gets cut first when that company is trimming the fat. And so what happens there is that they essentially downsize into a virtual receptionist or, an answering service company. And so Vicky Virtual, as a virtual receptionist company, was a willing recipient of that type of business. And it was a surprising amount of businesses that needed that. And so that had an effect on their month-over-month revenue this year. Now, another thing that Vicky Virtual did was they finally decided to raise prices by 10%. Now, when I started the company back in January 2015, we did not have offices, and so we didn't have to pay for office space. We were very lean from the start and going forward from there. And so I only raised our prices one time going into January of 2018. However, our competitors were pretty consistently raising their prices. We didn't really need to because we still retained great margins that I was happy with. And so in, I believe, May or June of this year, Vicky Virtual decided to raise their prices by about 10% across the board. So their current client, past client, they are now seeing that effect, and that, of course, raises revenue. Now, the beautiful thing is that even though this was a pandemic and, there was some hesitancy there because of it, Vicky Virtual didn't lose any clients as a direct result of that 10% price raise. So that's an incredible thing. And one of the things that's sort of a testament to was our ability to retain some of the same margins as our competitors while having incredible pricing, again, because we stayed lean and we weren't dealing with office costs. Okay? Now, the fifth thing is the general growth trajectory of the virtual receptionist space. Now, over the past 3 to 5 years, there's been an annual growth of 6% per year in the virtual receptionist space. Now, what this means is that Vicky Virtual, this year is sort of tough to know where everything's going to land. We'll see what the data says at the end of the year. But based off of the data I have right now, Vicky Virtual would have grown by a certain percentage, maybe 5-6%, regardless from March to now. But where we're at is that they were able to grow significantly more. But being, simply existing, having the business that they would have gotten anyway with new clients, organic and paid, they would have grown. And so that, of course, is another factor as to why overall they're up 30% since March 2020. All right, so that is the 5 reasons. I hope you enjoyed this because it's something that if you really are considering a business to get in during this pandemic toward the end of 2020, whereas, again, there's a lot of uncertainty. We don't know exactly what our stock market is going to do, what it's going to be the fate of certain businesses. I think in a lot of large cities, there's 100-year-old businesses that have gone away. It's a very scary time. But during these scary times is when we typically have the most opportunity. And so, if you like this video, make sure you pay more attention to what I'm putting out on this channel called Center Cash. And you can do that by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that bell so that you're notified every single time I create and post a video like this. I really appreciate you watching. If you like this, feel free to share it. Great content. I'm going to be continuing to put out stuff like this. And the main thing to remember here is that it's a simple business in a fantastic in-demand industry, and it is pandemic safe.